The Asgard are widely considered to be one of the most advanced and benevolent races in the Stargate mythos. In this video, I'd like to discuss the Asgard, whose civilization would go on to greatly impact the modern human race, creating a legacy that would leave an indelible mark on the inhabitants of the Milky Way galaxy. One of the cornerstones of the Stargate mythos is that the various societies of Earth, along with their many religions and cultures, were heavily influenced by several highly advanced alien species that took on the persona of gods. As the modern humans of Earth, known as the Tauri, began to explore the galaxy with an ancient alien device called the Stargate, they gradually uncovered the truth about humanity's long-lost history and the star gods that shaped their very existence and development. The mythologies and legends of Earth revealed that there were two different kinds of these star gods: the tyrants, who treated their subjects like cattle, demanded absolute obedience, and utilized their technology to punish and control; and the culture bearers, who used knowledge and technology to benefit humanity. These tyrants were discovered to be a powerful parasitic alien race known as the Goa'uld, who used the advanced technology of others to realize their plans for galactic domination. They found and enslaved the primitive humans of Earth, posing as their gods and scattering them across the galaxy to be used as hosts and slaves. The personas they assumed primarily influenced Egyptian mythology. The Asgard are the so-called culture bearers. They became an advanced alien species through their own scientific and technological achievements. They assumed the roles of benevolent, protective gods, which gave rise to Norse mythology, as they looked after the primitive human population scattered across the Milky Way by the Goa'uld. According to Norse mythology, their deities were powerful warriors. Legend told of the god Thor, who was known as a friend to humans, who protected them from the Ettins, beings of great power and knowledge who were enemies of mankind. The Asgard's war with the Goa'uld inspired these myths and legends and contributed to their legacy as friends and protectors of humanity. Once, the Asgard were part of a great alliance of 4 highly advanced races that even included the Gate Builders. These races saw their collective knowledge and abilities as a responsibility to help maintain order in the Milky Way. While the others' participation in this alliance gradually waned over the long passage of time, the Asgard, seeing great potential in the budding human race, did all they could to protect their population from the increasing subjugation of the Goa'uld. Despite their best efforts, the Goa'uld Empire eventually became widespread throughout the galaxy, with the human population fueling their greed and ambition. Unwilling to allow this empire to take over the galaxy completely, the technologically superior Asgard were more than a match for them, liberating several human-populated planets from the clutches of the Goa'uld. They transported the humans they freed to various other worlds, and to ensure their freedom from Goa'uld oppression, the Asgard brokered an armistice known as the Protected Planets Treaty. Facing the wrath of Asgardian warships, the Goa'uld system lords reluctantly agreed to the terms of the treaty, but not without adding their own conditions to the agreement. These protected worlds would be left alone. However, the human societies would not be allowed to advance technologically to the point where they would become a threat to the Goa'uld. In line with this, the Asgard would be forbidden to artificially advance a human population by interfering in any way with their natural development, not even to prevent a natural disaster. Samaria was personally protected by the Asgard Thor, who placed a device called Thor's Hammer near the Stargate that would neutralize the threat of a Goa'uld incursion while maintaining his guise as a benevolent god. These personas were only used so as not to hinder a civilization's development and were not intended to garner worship. The Asgard went on to devise a series of challenges hidden on these worlds that would determine whether a society had advanced enough to learn of the Asgard's true nature. Though this tenuous arrangement with the System Lords served its purpose while the scattered human race was most vulnerable, realistically it was never meant to last. The humans of Earth had advanced enough to start exploring the galaxy, building a reputation among the stars as an enemy of the Goa'uld, and proving themselves a formidable enough threat needing to be dealt with. At this time, the Asgard were no longer in the position they once were to aid the human race on a large scale. The Asgard's resources had become significantly limited as the bulk of their forces were preoccupied in their home galaxy fighting an invasion of a far more lethal enemy, the Replicators, intelligent, highly adaptable machines whose sole mission was to consume all available resources in order to make more of themselves. The Asgard also faced the consequences of their continued use of cloning and were slowly becoming extinct due to genetic degradation. Subsequently, they were no longer able to devote the resources necessary to enforce the treaty, but they were shrewd in their dealings with the Goa'uld and proposed that Earth be inducted into the Protected Planets Treaty, hoping to take advantage of their feudal nature, being too distracted fighting each other to call the Asgard's bluff. The Tauri quickly managed to form diplomatic ties with the highly advanced Asgard, who were selective in how they provided support to the humans, even after the Goa'uld Anubis had risen to power. As perhaps the most formidable system lord, Anubis possessed sufficient knowledge and advanced technology capable of challenging the Asgard and effectively abolished their fragile armistice. It was clear, despite humanity's potential, that the Tauri still had much to prove. Even still, Thor and the Asgard did what they could to aid humanity while adhering to their strict standards limiting the dispensing of their technology. The humans of Stargate Command, despite their vastly inferior capabilities, did what they could to help their allies achieve several key victories, which enabled the elimination of the Replicators. In time, after working side by side through many conflicts, humanity proved themselves to be not only friends and allies of the Asgard, but to all morally upright civilizations of the Milky Way. With the rise of new, powerful threats, the Asgard worked with the Tauri and provided technology that could be incorporated into Earth's spaceships, including transporter technology, shields, and hyperdrives. Working together and seeing how they utilized these upgrades in times of peace and adversity provided the Asgard confirmation of the capabilities they initially saw in humanity. The Asgard saw the potential in the people of Earth to become the fifth race, a society who could accept the mantle of responsibility that comes along with the acquisition of great wisdom and resources. They trusted their determination to help others who could not help themselves against those powerful forces bent on galactic domination. The Asgard concluded that despite their youth, their imperfections, the humans of Earth were indeed a worthy successor for their legacy. With no way to reverse their genetic degradation, the Asgard's final act as a species was to gift the Tauri a database with the sum total of their knowledge and history. This included an interactive program containing the memories and personality of every Asgard. They also outfitted Earth spaceships with their latest weapons technology to aid them in their ongoing battles against the powerful Ori. With their legacy in safe hands, the Asgard committed mass suicide as they destroyed their home world, ensuring that no one could exploit their technology for nefarious purposes after they were gone. The true power of the Asgard wasn't purely the sum of their scientific and technological achievements, but it was also what they did with their knowledge and resources. These advanced beings lived on in those who knew them, who benefited from their protection and friendship. Their war with the Goa'uld greatly helped the human race to endure, and in so doing, they helped foster the development of humanity, who could one day become their allies and eventual successors. And thus, the fifth race carried on, determined to honor the legacy of the Asgard as they continued setting out among the stars, attempting to make a positive impact in the universe. But I'm curious to know what you think about the Asgard. Are there any moments in their history that stand out to you? Are there any lessons to be learned from their dealings with the Goa'uld and humanity? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more Stargate and other sci-fi and fantasy news and lore. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.